This Hayabusa has seen it all, from hill climbs to sand dunes and even the snow. But I rolled it off a mountain, completely totaling it, and somehow the engine still works. So today, we're giving the Hayabusa what it always wanted, to be a dirt bike. So first, we need to rip the 200 horsepower Hayabusa motor out so we can put it into this dirt bike. We're gonna have a Hayabusa powered dirt bike. This thing is gonna be unreal. Let's get started. First step of the build is to remove the Hayabusa roll cage. Lucky for me, the crash already did most of this. The cage saved the engine. Look at this thing. It is mangled. Now that the cage is off, we've got access to the radiator, so that has to go. I'm very happy to see the engine still has coolant. Next up is removing the headers, and just like the radiator, these are totally fine. The cage really did its job. Now that the headers are out of the way, I can yank this oil cooler off. And just like the coolant, I'm happy to see that the engine still has oil, because I don't know what kind of damage the crash did. For all I know, there could be a hole in the engine. Next up is the airbox, and the airbox was not as lucky as the radiator and the oil cooler. It is destroyed. So the cage mounts to the bike in 6 places. 2 on this side, 2 on that side, and 2 on the bottom side. Everything snapped off, but 2 spots. So this frame is totaled. Luckily, the engine looks fine. I definitely thought I was gonna have to replace something on the engine. I figured a case was gonna be cracked, at least something would be broken, but I think we got super lucky. So all there's left to do, unbolt this from the frame and then drop it out from underneath the bike. The motor is secured with special nuts that you need special tools for, but I have a hammer, so I'm having no problem getting those off. Time to get the Hayabusa off the ground so I can remove the forks. Now the final step is to drill out the broken frame. And just like that, we've got the power plant for our Hayabusa dirt bike. This thing is huge, 1340 cc's. Inline 4, 200 horsepower. It's gonna be unreal once we get it into the bike. Whew. Okay, it's a little too heavy for me to carry across the garage. I'm gonna leave it there. Let's disassemble the bike. To get the Busa motor in this dirt bike, I'm gonna have to cut the frame up, so I need to strip it down all the way. So first things first, the side panels have to go, and of course, the gas tank too. Now that those are out of the way, let's get these forks off. With the forks gone, it doesn't really look like a dirt bike anymore, which is good, because I need to strip this frame completely down to see if we can even get this Hayabusa motor in there. Final step is to remove the triple clamps. There's a couple nuts holding these on. Again, you're supposed to use special tools, but a normal crescent wrench will work. Frame is prepped, now it's time to cut it. The engine is so much bigger than I thought it was gonna be, so hopefully we can make it fit. Now there's definitely no going back. Cutting the frame up is pretty simple. I just need to get rid of everything that's in the way, which is the entire bottom frame. Check this out. So we've got the engine stuffed into the frame. It's no longer a dirt bike. It's basically just an engine. This thing is huge. I can't even believe, it looks like a cartoon. So we're at the most important part, which is welding the engine to the frame. I think everything's lined up. It looks pretty good. I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, Matt, why don't you just build a chassis for the Hayabusa engine? Well, I want it to still handle like a dirt bike. So I'm trying to keep all of this OEM, so it has the same geometry of a dirt bike, so it feels like a dirt bike. I want it to be to where anyone can hop on it and just ride it and have 200 horsepower, have the fun of the Hayabusa, but not have it be sketchy like the Hayabusa. I'll let you in on a little secret. The Hayabusa dirt bike was terrifying to ride. It was not good, it didn't handle right, it barely turned at all. If we're able to do this correctly, it's gonna feel like a dirt bike with 4 times the power, which should be sick. That's what I'm going for. I just want a super powerful dirt bike. I've got some welding to do here, and we don't need a bottom part because these Hayabusa engines, they are the frame, so they're structural, so you can use the engine as the frame. So we just need top mounting points to where when we land off a jump, the engine won't fall out from underneath the bike. Okay, let's do some welding. All right, here goes nothing. Yeah, didn't move it. So when you weld aluminum with all this heat, it pulls the metal together. So it just misaligned the frame. So we got to realign everything now. Sweet. Okay, we've got the two back engine mounts. Now we need to bend a tube from this plate up into the frame. And those are going to be our two main engine mounts. That's perfect. Brady does not know how to TIG weld.
Oh, MIG only.
And he's TIG welding the frame.
Hang on, let me get in good position here.
You got it.
What? It scared me.
All right?
Yeah, it scared me.
All right. Run that thing in there. Uh-oh. You all right?
That was good.
It kind of worked.
Whoa. Brother,
Whoa.
it's not just me.
Dude, I welded the other end of the welder. So I broke my TIG gun, but it still kind of works. So normally there's a shield right here, so you don't do what I just did. I touched this to metal, and it welded the actual TIG welder to the bike.
Moral of the story?
Not good.
We are not giving welder lessons here.
Yeah, I hope the frame doesn't break after what we've done to it. Engine is tacked in. So we've got a plate here, goes up to the frame. We've got a through bolt here. Still a lot of welding that needs to happen. But before I fully weld it, we need to make sure everything is still straight.
Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, it does look a little bit crooked, doesn't it? It does.
Got a little leftward pull to it.
Yeah. So the worry is if the engine and the frame are out of alignment, it'll throw the chain. And if a Hayabusa throws a chain, it usually just goes through the case.
And legs.
And if the chain breaks, it can hit your leg. That'd be very bad. So we're hoping, okay, that's not gonna happen. Everything's straight, it's perfect. As long as the chain stays on, if it's a little bit out of alignment, that's okay. We just need the chain to stay on. Look at the foot peg. How are you gonna stay on that? The engine is so big. Look at how small the old frame is for a 450 engine. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. Everything's mocked up and it looks good enough. So off with the frame so I can clean all the metal to give me the best chance of welding this strong enough so the engine doesn't fall out of the frame. Engine mounts are fully welded, so now I'm notching the frame to give me some room to mount air filters because this is not meant to be on the road. This is an off-road build. Now the final step before mounting the frame back up is to reinforce the part that I just notched out. I need this frame to be as strong as possible. Frame is welded up, motor is in. This thing is huge. So there's 1, 2, and 3 mounts on each side, and I notched out the frame right here so we'll have room for an airbox. I knew this engine was big, but I did not know it was this big. So right now, there's basically no room for a radiator. My original plan was to mount a radiator right there, but there is no room for a radiator. So I'm gonna make a custom radiator out of this old dirt bike one. So I need to cut this up and weld on some new fittings. The dirt bike radiator fittings are way too small, so I'm cutting those off to make room for the Hayabusa's much larger radiator fittings. The radiator itself is already way too small, so using these larger fittings I think will really help. Radiator's in, should work really good.
Check that out.
It's a lot smaller than the stock radiator. I'm going to put a fan on it, so hopefully it works. If the bike just keeps overheating when we go to test drive it, I'll have to build another radiator, but hopefully this works. Okay, next step, electronics and fuel tank. So first, I need to lay out all the electronics, get everything in a happy place so we know where we have room for a fuel tank. This Hayabusa has a lot of wiring. Luckily, all the controls have been modified for dirt bike bars, so they bolt right up. Wiring's done. I've got it all jammed into the bike. There is a lot of wiring. Next, and this is the step I'm most nervous for, I need to build a custom gas tank for it. I've never done this before. Here's the old tank. So the old tank is definitely not going to work. It is giant. So basically, I need to cut it up and build one that will fit into the bike. And the trick to the new gas tank is going to be keeping the internals of the old gas tank. So I need to keep the breather section and I need to keep the fuel pump so it will work properly. Before I go cutting up the gas tank, I just want to make sure it starts back up and still runs because I've been fiddling with a lot of stuff. I turned off the lights, so if it does start, hopefully it will shoot flames because there's no exhaust. I did a lot of messing with the wiring. I had to extend some stuff. I put in some new wiring, so hopefully it starts right up. Quick break in the video to talk about today's sponsor, Onyx Off-Road. I've been using Onyx Off-Road for years, long before they started sponsoring the channel, and I could not go without it. I'm always planning for my next trip, and Onyx is there to help me. The Discovery tab is great because if you're in a new place, like I am frequently, you can go on there, find new trails, and they're all rated on difficulty, which is great. And their new dispersed camping feature is great because when I'm traveling, I can go on there and find a really cool place to set up camp. Once this bike's finished, I will definitely be testing its capabilities off-road on some sort of trip. And more than likely, wherever I take this bike, it won't have cell service. And Onyx has a great feature called offline maps. So the area that you're in, you can download a map of that area. So when you don't have cell service, you can go on and you still have access to the map, which is so useful. And if you want more out of Onyx, you can sign up for their elite membership where you have access to private land information and satellite imagery that updates every 2 weeks in the United States. I could not recommend Onyx anymore. If you want to give it a try, be sure to use my code MattSpears for 20% off and use the link in the description, or you can scan this QR code over here. Thank you so much to Onyx for sponsoring today's video. Let's get back to the build. So all that I have left to do is cut up this gas tank and build a new one. First step is to get rid of the fuel pump. I do not want to accidentally damage this when I'm cutting the tank. I drained all the gas out of the tank. Hopefully this does not explode. Tank's all cut up, but I can't weld it back together because the inside is full of rust. So I'm gonna make a new gas tank totally from scratch. First step to the new tank is to draw a box on this sheet metal. Then I gotta cut it out. I'm starting at the bottom of the tank where the fuel pump mounts, and I'm working my way up. I've never done this before, so I'm just winging it, and I'm using the seat as a template to follow because I want this tank to be a similar size to the OEM one. That way when it's time to put the side plastics on, it still looks like a dirt bike. Now that I have the basic tank shape welded together, I just need to cut out the sides. There's a left and a right side, and they're slightly different because the box is not perfectly symmetrical. Welding the sides on is easy, and it leaves the tank with a nice color. And just like that, we've got a metal box that I'm calling a gas tank. Now we need a place to fill it up with gas, and a place to mount the fuel pump. So I'm cutting out the old fill cap, and I'm just gonna drill a hole in the new tank, and then weld the fill cap right where the hole is. But I just realized there's a major problem.
The old gas tank vents into these tubes.
But since I have a brand new gas tank, there's nowhere for those vent tubes to go. So I'm just gonna do it the old fashioned way and put a vent in the top of the gas tank cap. So I need to go make a fitting and then weld it on to our aluminum gas cap. Gas tank is almost done. The final step is to add a vent. The original Hayabusa tank vents into itself. It's a very cool design, but I had to cut that out. So I'm just doing it the old fashioned way. First step is to make an aluminum fitting that I can weld to the aluminum gas cap. This is the same vent that dirt bikes use, just a hole in the gas cap with a breather line hooked up to it. Tank's done, it's in, it's gonna work great. Now we need to pick it off the table and put the dirt bike part on. So suspension, tires, wheels, all that good stuff. We gotta pick this behemoth up. This engine is ridiculous. It is so big. I just hope the front wheel has enough clearance. When you hit something, it doesn't just jam into the motor. Only one way to find out. I've been studying other leader bike dirt bikes, and I haven't found one yet where it utilizes the stock frame. So hopefully me wanting to keep the dirt bike feel actually works. I'm really excited to try out this bike, so my buddy Brady and I, we're just slapping it together. On goes the exhaust, on goes the dirt bike wheel, and we're just zip tying the plastics on. You know what that means. It's getting fuel. We're gonna go test this thing out. I think there's some major design flaws. We may find out. I don't know, we'll see. I'm very concerned about how close the front tire is to the exhaust. That's...
Give it a bounce.
Yeah, that might not. I don't know.
Looks jumpable.
Looks jumpable? Well, you know when you're a kid and you didn't have brakes on your BMX bike, so you jammed your shoe in the tire? I think that might happen to this bike. Just get ejected over the forks.
We're gonna see an incidental stoppie.
Do you think that'll happen, or will it just maybe bend the exhaust the way it should be?
Depends on what you hit.
Okay, the other problem, this rear foot peg. It's so close to the engine that there's no room for a rear brake or for your foot, really. So you don't really have much to stand on, and there's no rear brake. Is there other problems with the bike? Probably, but that's the only thing I see wrong.
Hang on.
See if she's gonna fire up. It'll start. We know everything's good. We're so dialed. This chain back here, it's kind of aligned with the sprocket. Kind of. So hopefully the chain doesn't come off. That's another point of concern. So there's three main points of concerns. No rear brake / foot peg. The chain is kind of off-centered with the engine. And the front tire might get stuffed into the exhaust and send you over. But I want to test everything else out, so we're going to go test the bike. There's some jumps, there's some logs, maybe do some wheelies. We'll see what happens. The moment has come. It's time to test this out. So over here, we've got logs, rocks, tires. There's some jumps over there and hill climbs. So we're about to see what this bike can do. I'm just trying to be really careful not to jam the front tire into the exhaust and go over the handlebars. Just sitting here and compressing the forks, the tire will hit the exhaust. I just need to be careful. Let's see if we turned a Hayabusa into a dirt bike. Also, the ground clearance, not amazing. So I need to be careful with the ground clearance too. There's a lot of things I need to be careful with here. Plus, I just need to get used to the bike. It's brand new to me. I'm excited to ride it. All right, let's see. I'm gonna try this thing first. Then maybe I'll hit a log. Cha-ching! Okay, let's see what the Busa can do.
this thing's pretty good.
No problem.
Right? No problem. Think I can make it to the tires?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, okay, let's try that. And then we'll hit some logs. Dang, this is, I think, gonna be better than I thought. The temp gauge was flashing red at me. The temp gauge is maxed out and the fan is not running. The Busa is better than I thought. I think it might actually be a dirt bike. So I'm gonna try this log pile. This log piles can be kind of sketchy because if you hit them wrong, the logs will fly up and take you out. This thing's really good. Make sure I didn't break the bottom of the engine off. Is it dripping oil?
Nope.
Nope, okay, I definitely bottomed it out on something. There's not a lot of ground clearance. Should probably get out of this log section before I hit anything that takes the bottom of the engine off. Let's go do some hill climbs. See what this bike can do.
Just like a regular dirt bike.
It's just like a dirt bike, yeah. It feels just like a dirt bike. Everything's working good. The engine runs sweet. I didn't know how the engine was gonna run because there's a new air box. I've never built a gas tank before, so I really didn't know what was gonna happen there. I have a fire extinguisher with me just in case something happens. So we'll be able to save it from a fire. All right, let's go do a hill climb. This bike has way too much power and it's way too good for not having any front brakes or any rear brakes. So I need to build new foot peg mounts, get a rear brake so I can actually slow this thing down. And I also need to put a way bigger radiator cooler on it because the bike is so angry right now. It's flashing the red sign, which means it's overheated. We've got a certified ripper on our hands. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you guys in the next one. I cannot believe how good this bike is.